What's up, members onlys, followers? Uh, what's up? We're doing another movie review. This time we watched Inception, which is best known for being the sequel to The Dark Knight and the prequel to The Dark Knight
It's
Rises.
nope.
It's the prequel of The Dark Knight Rises. Okay. Um, in this movie, Gustav, why don't you tell them what happens in this movie?
Alright. In this movie, Leonardo DiCaprio stars as a con artist whose kind of whole thing is that he steals secrets from people through their dreams.
Yeah, honestly, at this point in the movie, which we were like 10 minutes in, already lost any clue what was going on. I just listen. It's really confusing. Basically, the movie starts off in like a triple dream scenario, where you're dreaming, you realize you're dreaming, and then you wake up, and then you realize you're dreaming that, and then you wake up, and it's like a dream within a dream, and it's so complex. And I thought that was as complex as this movie was gonna go, and I was an idiot
Nope.
because that was like the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes, so I don't really know what I was thinking. Um, so what ends up happening is that little sequence. So he ends up trying to steal information from this guy by putting him in a dream within a dream. It turns out that guy actually wanted to hire him, and it was all just a test. He hired him to do Inception, which is to plant an idea in someone's mind, and that was the goal that Leonardo DiCaprio's character needed to pull off with a team um, comprised of Tom Hardy and other people, but they're not really important. Tom Hardy's the only important one there. All right,
I'm gonna talk.
you're never gonna get the chance to talk.
Did you want me to say something?
Yeah, kinda.
Hello?
Yeah, I did want you to say something. It's been just awkward silence for like 2 minutes. Are you gonna talk?
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so
You're like a dumbass.
embarrassed. So, the reason that Cobb wants to finish this job is that he wants to see his children again. And the reason he can't see his children is because um his wife died, and
And that's it.
she framed him of the murder.
Yeah, that was a pretty asshole move to make.
So then Cobb assembles his team. There's a Tom Hardy's character Eames. He's a he's a forger, but he doesn't forge anything. He forges people. He forges human beings. And then there's Elliot Page as Ariadne, and they're the architect. They design the levels of the dreams.
That was.
And then there's Yusuf. He's a chemist, and he created the sedative that will keep everyone on the
Yeah,
team
he basically
asleep.
makes shrooms, but really like like the giant mushroom in Mario that makes you like super huge. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
So at each level of the dream, um, the person who created the dream and is generating the dream, they stay behind and they set up a kick. And what the kick does is that it's like that feeling of falling that wakes you up. If you're in a dream and you feel like you're falling, like
You
you
wake
get
up
up.
from it, yeah.
And that's basically what a kick is, but it's inside the dream.
Right, yeah, I think that part of the movie was kind of dumb to me. That so basically the only two ways you can wake up is if you initiate some sort of kick or if you die in the dream. But then they go on later, like later parts of the movie, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, if you die, like you don't come back." I'm like, "Well then, like what?" I thought
It's
that part was really
because
stupid.
when you get deeper and deeper into the dream, then if you die, you go to limbo.
Also, we're not gonna talk about how these like motherfuckers literally sleep like in 2 seconds that they go to bed and they start dreaming. Like literally, it's like 2 seconds. They start.
Because of the sedative. That's why they carry around that
Yeah, but they did
briefcase.
it like in the dreams. Oh, this. Wow, I look dumb. All
Yeah,
right,
you
that
really
makes
do look
sense.
dumb.
That makes sense. All right, well that
So,
part of the plot
so
hole's just been fixed for me. All right,
yeah.
all right. Okay, so go into kind of the ending of this movie. Also, I want
Whoa,
to.
whoa, 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 whoa! Ending?
Oh yeah, we're like in the middle. My fault.
We haven't even talked about who they're trying to like incept.
Oh yeah, they're trying to incept Scarecrow.
No, they're
Uh,
trying to incept Robert Fisher.
who is Scarecrow? Uh,
He's the heir to this Japanese guy, Saito. Like they're sort of rivals, and like they're trying to plant the idea of like wanting this Fisher person to dissolve his father's company so that Saito can have a monopoly.
yeah. Um,
Capitalism.
yeah. This is. I mean, this is not a. This is really not a commentary on capitalism, unfortunately. Unlike There Will Be Blood, but this movie's more of a commentary, honestly, on like how much control a person should have, in my opinion. It's really, it's really like it's kind of like about the dangers of technology, because this is obviously technological, and how it could be mind altering. But it's also like kind of a commentary on authority, and how much power someone should be able to have over the mind, both metaphorically and literally. At least in my eyes. All right, you can go ahead with whatever you're gonna say next.
So then we get to the first level, which is in Los Angeles. So this team, they capture Robert, but projections from Robert's subconscious attack them.
Oh yeah, that's
So
another thing
apparently,
too. Yeah, if you're in a dream, like your projections of your subconscious will like kind of like eye you weirdly, and then if you do bad stuff, like they'll start like
they can
attacking you.
literally attack you.
Yeah, it's basically like extras in a movie, except that they can all be vicious and hostile towards you at any moment. Pretty much.
So in this kerfuffle, Mr. Saito gets shot, and cop says that normally, if you die in a dream, you wake up, but the sedatives will send them into limbo, and it's very, very, very difficult to wake up from limbo. And Cobb knows because he was in limbo. But that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So then Eames impersonates Robert's godfather, like one of the only people that Robert actually like trusts. And as Robert's godfather, Eames sort of like tries to get him to think that he should dissolve his father's company. So then, Cobb's talking about like, oh, my wife died. It's so. And then what happened was, he and his wife Mal went into limbo because they wanted to be in limbo. Because when you're in a dream, time moves faster, and like it keeps moving faster when you get deeper and deeper into the dream.
You mean it moves slower?
Slower. My bad.
Imagine. Yeah, I wanted to go faster.
So they were sleeping for 5 hours, but in limbo they spent like 50 years together. And so when his wife Mal, like when they woke up, she was still like confused about whether she was still in a dream or whether she was like real. And once she tried to wake up, she killed herself because she wanted to wake up.
And that's all because
it's all because Cobb
did Inception.
Used Inception.
He used his Inception power
by reactivating her totem. A totem is something that people in the dream use to know what's a dream and what's real.
Yeah, so basically, like, that's how he knows that Inception works, because he's done it before. And they actually allude to it earlier in the film, and then,
and they basically confirm it.
Yeah. So, that's kind of weird, man. Don't know how I feel about that. But okay. So anyway, what? They end up...
Then they go to the second level, which is a hotel. So Cobb ends up using this sort of like character, Mr. Charles, and he convinces Robert that he's like
the
sort
FBI.
of the guardian of Robert's subconscious.
Yeah, he's like the FBI, but for his mind.
Yeah, and
Secret
Robert's
Service.
so dumb that he believes it.
Yeah, listen, I don't know if this kid just like started smoking like weed in like the middle of the movie or something and just like lost his mind, but literally like this guy like he was never like super smart, but he like acts like a complete idiot for the rest of the movie. Like for the rest of the movie. So I don't know if he was meant to be like a smart character and he was like, "Oh yeah, Cobb's just super secretive" or something, but I don't know. I thought honestly, what was his name? The guy they were incepting?
Robert.
Yeah, I think that Robert was like really, really, really stupid from here on out in this movie. I don't know if that was intentional, but it didn't make Cobb look any smarter. It just made Robert look more stupid.
True. So nothing much happens on the second level besides like that whole Mr. Charles thing.
Yeah, and they have to leave that other guy there.
And then they go to the third level, which is like a secret, like snow mountain fortress kind of thing. So then they have to get Robert inside of this fortress because that's where the idea will be. But then, all the way back in the first level, Yusuf starts his kick too early. So this kind of messes up every other level because then on the second level, there's no gravity, and on the third level, it causes an avalanche. So now they still do have like a bit of extra time because there's also the kick of the van hitting the water that it was falling to because it got driven off a fucking bridge.
Right. Yeah. So they basically have two kicks here,
which is a little lucky, a little convenient. But anyway, the projection of Maul actually shows up at the third level, and she kills Robert. So now, Cobb and Ariadne, they enter limbo to save Robert
Yeah.
and Saito.
Oh yeah, because
And then
Saito succumbed to his wounds too.
Yeah,
so
because
now they gotta get him as well.
Saito's been like
Basically dying. The whole
very
time.
dying the whole time.
I kind of feel bad for him, bro. He's just been bleeding out. He's like, all right.
Yeah, like when you go deeper into the dreams, like the wounds hurt a little less, I guess. But in the third level, he finally like dies.
Man.
And then when they get to limbo, they have to once again, what's the word?
They have
What's
to
the word?
initiate a kick.
No. What's the word?
Well, they do, but what's the word you're looking for?
They gotta do some shit with fucking Maul. I don't know the word, but they gotta. They gotta talk to Maul.
Reason with her.
Yeah, they gotta peacefully debate Maul.
In a fugitive type, like a hostage, because she's taking hostages, so they have to be like de-escalating the situation.
Okay, so then they're just talking about like their kids and dreams and reality and blah blah blah, and then Ariadne kills Maul, and then Ariadne wakes up Robert with a kick by throwing him off a building.
Yeah, and then Ariadne does the same.
Yeah, and then Robert wakes up in the third level, and then he finds the idea. It's a projection of his dying father telling him to, be himself and be his own man and, dissolve my company. And then Cobb stays behind to search for Saito in limbo. And then it's the scene that played at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. And then Saito's like a really, really, really old man. And then basically Cobb ends up convincing Saito to come back, I think.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happens. And then that's where the movie... I mean, that's not where the movie ends, but then they all get woken up slowly.
They all wake up.
And then
all the kicks start at each level, and then they wake up, completely.
Yep.
No
and
more
then
dreams.
The guy who plays Alfred in the Dark Knight movie, I forget his name in this movie. What's his name in this movie? I don't know. He basically plays the same. Miles. He plays the same kind of character, basically. He brings Cobb back to his family, and he sees his kids. And here's one thing, I don't know if we mentioned it, but basically a way for them to get to know that they're not in a dream is to spin a top. And if the top stops spinning, then they're not in a dream. And if it doesn't stop spinning, then they are in a dream. And that's how you know if you're in a dream or not. And so at the very end of the movie, as Cobb goes to see his kids, he spins the top. But he doesn't look at what the top's doing, and it cuts to black before we can see if the top stopped or not. So it kind of leaves you up to a cliffhanger here. If it's what's the word? If it's all a dream or not, and it's definitely reality. We both have our own theories here. I think Gustav's is more correct, but I think I have a point here as well. So you can say your theory first if you want.
So when Cobb is in a dream, he has his wedding ring on, because in his dreams, he and Maul are still together. And when he's not dreaming, he doesn't have the ring on. At the end of the movie, when he spins the top, he doesn't have his ring on.
Yeah, so that's how it's reality. That's actually a pretty good theory, and I think that's probably the best theory here. My theory was that I'm pretty sure the top is about to stop spinning when the movie cut. But Gustavo reminded me that sometimes tops do that. Oh my god. That's so funny. Yeah, I think that's our friends calling us on Discord, but screw them. Yeah, but the top was about to stop spinning. So my theory is that the top was literally about to stop spinning. But Gustavo reminded me that can sometimes happen with tops. Sometimes it looks like it's about to stop spinning, and then it has a little extra burst. But I still feel like that was about to stop spinning, because it didn't really do that in the other scene with Saito, like old Saito. Like it kept on spinning. It never really showed like a time where it might have stopped spinning. So let's get to our ratings though. What do you rate this movie?
Well, first we have to talk about the visuals of the movie. This movie, visually, is just a masterwork.
Yeah,
Like,
cinematography here is crucial.
Incredible. Like, incredibly ahead of its time. Like, when you look at a movie like Doctor Strange and compare that to Inception, like, there's obviously
Oh
an
yeah, Doctor
influence.
Strange looks amazing visually, but the thing is that came out 6 years after this movie, and they both look impressive, especially even for their time. Like Doctor Strange still looks good for its time, but Inception came out in 2010, and it looks this good. Like
It looks
2010.
just it still blows my mind to this day how amazingly, like, oh my god, this movie is just so, like, visually just incredible.
But it's also acted pretty well, and I think Christopher Nolan does a good job directing here as well. The writing, honestly, I feel like things could have probably been a little bit clearer, but they did a decent job of explaining how everything worked. If you could buy into the whole creating dreams concept, I think that's still a little bit kind of just, you have to just take their word for it. But I think everything else about this movie is pretty, like, I mean, they don't change up their rules, so it kind of like works.
I also like how the dreams kind of, like, feel real.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like sometimes movies, when they're talking about dreams, they just kind of, like, make it so that anything and everything can happen, but the dreams in this movie, like, feel much more realistic.
Which is funny because that actually makes it less realistic, because dreams normally are stupid and nothing realistic happens in them. It also doesn't normally feel that real. I mean, obviously, probably most everyone who's watched this video has dreamt before, but I think like when you dream, you kind of are aware it's not real. Unless you're really sucked into it, you're normally aware it's not real. And normally, you don't really have all the feelings you would have if it was real. So I do think that making the dreams realistic actually makes it less realistic, but I think it's fine. I mean, it worked for the movie. It would be kind of dumb if it was like all like how dreams really are, which is kind of like foggy and stuff. It would make it like really bad. So it's good that they made the dreams realistic. Um, I'm gonna rate this movie probably a. Honestly, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9. I think it was really, really good. I think, again, they probably could have done a little bit more explaining of their rules, but they did a decent job of that, too. I think not everyone in this movie acted amazing. Like, a lot of, like, the side characters really did not do a great job, but I think past that, the movie was pretty well acted. What are you going to give it?
The, the effects in this movie are just so, like, juicy and so grand and so huge and just so fucking amazing. And the score in this movie perfectly fits the entire movie. And the thematic elements of this movie, where it talks about, like, how like I just love this movie so much.
I'm going to assume
Really, really, really just feeling a 10.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
really
about to
feeling
say,
a
I
10
feel
on
like
this.
you're gonna give it a 10. All right, 10 out of 10. So, yeah, I mean, we pretty much agree here then. Like, we both agree it's a pretty good movie. Um, but yeah, we're gonna do another one of these reviews at some point, probably next week. I don't even know really, probably soon. So make sure to subscribe, hit notifications if you want to like get notified. I
I
mean,
had notifications.
I hit notifications. I mean, we pretty much post every day. So just kind of check. If you don't want to post notifications, I understand because it can clutter your inbox. Just check the channel every so often. You'll find videos. Make sure to like if you like the video and comment down below other movies you think we should watch. Although to be honest, I think Gustavo's gonna recommend most of them because he's done a pretty good job so far. With that being said, Gustavo, do you have any closing words to say to the audience?
Yeah, Inception, great movie.
Yeah, you should really watch Inception. Alright, I think it's gonna do it.
Highly recommend it.
I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!